Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Dundee hope to announce their new manager tomorrow after sacking Paul Hartley. Alex McLeish says all the pressure is on Rangers ahead of the Old Firm Cup semi-final. And Hibs are 2 games away from a double after clinching the championship at the weekend. Yeah, just a few of the talking points on the programme tonight. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Ruffy, some interesting results over the weekend, some interesting interviews that we will discuss this evening. But first of all, let's have a look at some of the newspapers from the morning. Back pages. Here's the Record, first of all, and what they have to say about Alex Schalk's dive, which we were almost certain was going to dominate the headlines all the way through the week. This is about the dive that won the penalty that eventually Liam Boyce scored to earn a point for Ross County. The Sun, I'd have kept you up. Of course, this discussing Paul Hartley and his sacking as Dundee manager. And the Mail mentions Hartley, and off the sidebar is Johan Mjällby saying Martin O'Neill's side at its best would easily have been more than a match for Brendan Rodgers' championship winning team. One of those great pub arguments, Ruffy. But let's cut to the chase in Paul Hartley. 7 really bad results, and eventually the Dundee managing director, John Nelms, said enough was enough.
Yeah, it's another moment for the owner of a club to make a decision. Obviously, the results weren't going with Paul, so they take a gamble that a new person coming in will lift the dressing room and get the results that they're needed. It remains to be seen who that person is. They'll have to move very, very quickly. Obviously, they've got a free week this weekend, but it'd be interesting to see the names that are thrown into the hat. One for me, obviously, is Jim Duffy, who's been there before. I know Martin won't want to lose him, but he's been there before, knows most of the players. The fans will get right behind him from the start. But there will be lots of other names. And I agree with Paul. You know, Paul is saying that if you'd left me, I'd have turned it round, because he's now in the scenario playing against the other 5 teams that are of the same level as Dundee. So I can see he might be hurting a wee bit.
Yeah, here's the statement released by Paul Hartley after the departure. I don't think he actually thought it was coming. I'm disappointed not to have been given the chance to see out the remainder of the season, because I firmly believe we would have retained our SPFL Premiership status. I was confident we would have moved up the league table, as there are some excellent players in the dressing room led by Captain Darren O'Dea. However, I respect the decision made by Dundee FC board and would like to wish everyone success in the final 5 games of the campaign. I'm very proud of what I achieved as Dundee manager since I was appointed in February 2014. We won promotion to the SPFL top flight and we finished in the top 6. There is no doubt I'm leaving the club in a far stronger position now from when I first joined. I must admit, sometimes, you know, boards get a little edgy, they get a little nervy, and then they think that a change will prompt a different style of play, maybe a different set of results. Maybe the squad get a lift with a new face in there and a different voice. You mentioned Jim Duffy, Alan Stubbs, also an early favourite. Fabrizio Ravanelli has thrown his name in, there's a name. Also, I mean, Peter Houston,
Yes.
Darren Young's been mentioned. Another one, James McPake. Now, I don't see them giving it to James on the basis that, you know, with 5 games to go, I think you need somebody with experience in there. You know, why sack Paul Hartley and go for somebody with a complete lack of experience? I don't see that happening.
No, I don't see that happening either. James was in the show. He's just started taking his badges. He was happy helping out, you know, with the other teams. You know, I think his time will come. He might be part of a setup that's there because he knows the players. But no, I think we'll find it'll be somebody who has been at that level before, and somebody, I think an important thing is somebody the fans can relate to, because you definitely need the fans right behind you in the running.
Are you a wee bit surprised that they have mentioned that they expect to announce the manager by tomorrow, Ruffy, tomorrow evening? I mean, that suggests that they were obviously thinking about it long before they sacked Paul Hartley.
Yeah, I always said all along that I thought the hammer with Aberdeen, the 7-0 game, I never like to see any team getting beat 7 But that seems to be the trigger that they obviously said to themselves, right, if this doesn't improve, we need to act very swiftly. And they probably have been working behind the scenes to see who's available if the results continued in that vein, and they did continue in that vein. So I would think they've actively been trying to get somebody for the last fortnight.
Okay, we await the news, possibly over the next 24 hours from Dens Park on the new manager. Let's switch our attention to something which I think is certainly going to be interesting to see how it all develops for Alex Schalk. I've never witnessed a dive like it, Ruffy. I mean, it was so blatant in cheating that it won Ross County a penalty. They got the point after Liam Boyce had scored in a match that I don't think they deserved to win. But what about the dive? What's your take on it?
Yeah, it's outrageous, you know, and I wish people who think that contact means you go down, you know, and that's what he was looking for. He was looking for contact. It never came. And he tried to use it to advantage. Fortunate enough that the cameras caught on it. The people I feel sorry for is the referee and the linesman. They're the ones that are getting it. You know, they're the ones who never dived. You know, they're the ones who had to make that split-second decision. Yes, they got it wrong, but you can see why they got it wrong. The guy's thrown himself to the ground as if he's been tackled from behind.
Yeah. And
they've got to make a decision. Unfortunately, they don't have that replay that we get. So for me, the culprit is the player, and we should. I said this. You laughed the last time when it happened, and I said 6-game ban.
Yeah.
You know, that is the only way you're going to deter players from stopping doing this. You know, I know it's a bit hefty, but if players think they're going to get away with it, then you've got to give them some kind of deterrent.
I'm warming to it, Ruffy. You know, a really hefty ban on it to try and stamp this out of the game. But as far as the referee is concerned and the linesman, should he have been helped better by his linesman who had another angle on this? It could have been blocked. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, John Fleming, the referee's chief, said, "Listen, managers can call us here, but there's no doubt that video refereeing would, eliminate quite a lot of that cheating."
Yeah, there must have been some kind of dialogue with the referee and the linesman. You know, they must have communicated with each other, and possibly the linesman was conned as well, the way a lot of people were, that he dived. And I'm sure the referee and the linesman will hold their hands up and say, yeah, we got it wrong. But for me, it's the player. If the player doesn't do it, you don't have to make a decision.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers said it's one of the worst refereeing decisions that he's witnessed in a long time.
But it's not a referee decision as far as I'm concerned, Peter. Yeah. It's a player. You know, I'm sure from where Brendan Rodgers was standing, he wouldn't have had a good view of it either. No, he would on vision of seeing it would have went, oh, that's a penalty. You know what I mean? Depending where you were standing and what kind of view you've got. Yes, the linesman's probably got a good view, but for some reason maybe he was obscured as well. And when you see the player acting the way he was, then I definitely wouldn't blame the officials.
Yeah?
No.
Okay, what about the Scott Brown scenario? This one looks as if it's got a wee. This one looks as if it's got a wee bit of Celtic about to play the system on this one, because it was a rash challenge, rush of blood to the head, and definitely a red in my book. Was it a red in your book?
Yeah, I think it's a red in everybody's book. And again, you know, as you've said there, they're using the system to beat it. But again, not just because it's Scott Brown. Any player, if they're using the system and they're found to be guilty, I think they should be heavily punished as well.
But he's going to be available for the semi-final.
Yes, he will be. But again, you know, that I've said it in old school. I remember when I was with the juniors, if it was a similar thing that had happened and we appealed, the juniors would hold a meeting in the morning of the game.
Yeah.
You know, whether you appealed or not, that's the date you were given. And you would turn up and your player would be booked and you'd miss the game. It's just you say abusing the rules.
Yeah. Well, I think the Easter holidays has worked in their favour. I mean, I have to laugh at it because
I still get that either. If you're going to call a meeting, if you're determined to punish the culprit, whoever it is, not just Scott Brown, hold the meeting on a Friday.
You might even get a heftier fine if they feel Celtic played the system.
Yeah, I think they will, and again, not just because it's Scott Brown or Celtic. Anybody doing it, you know, to use the system, if you're found guilty, should be given maybe another extra couple of games.
Here's a question: is he fundamental to Celtic having that edge in an Old Firm game?
I think as a captain, as a leader of the club, you know, on his game, you know, he can lift everybody round about him. He would be a miss because he's a captain.
Yep. Okay, a captain certainly can have a major influence on the outcome of a match just by their inspirational qualities. And I mention that because John Terry, the Chelsea captain, has announced that he'll leave the club. He is 36 years of age. I think he still feels as if he's maybe got 1 or 2 years elsewhere. I wonder where he'll end up. Could he be in another Premier League club facing his favourite team, Chelsea? Who knows? We thought we'd give you a question just to test your knowledge on the former England Chelsea player. John Terry, do you reckon he's still got a couple of years in him, Ruffy?
I think he'll be going abroad now. I think he'll maybe be China, maybe America, something like that. I think he's been in the Premiership for a long, long time. And to be with Chelsea for that length of time, you're talking about what, Bournemouth, somewhere like that. You know, I think he would rather go abroad.
Yeah, is that his level?
What, China?
No, Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. No, I think that's the kind of teams that'll come in for him. I think obviously he's a great career, but like anybody, it catches up in you, and depends whether he wants to still be in the Premiership. But I would be tipping that what is the currency in China?
Yeah, the
Yuan Magumbo. might persuade him to maybe try there.
The yen.
The yen, there we go.
Are you happy with that?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing like Ruffy making up various forms of currency across the world. Okay. Alex McLeish was back in town today talking about the forthcoming game. Of course, Sunday, Cup semi-final, Hampden. It's Rangers against Celtic. And no surprise, Alex McLeish says all the pressure is on Rangers.
It's there right in your face, and you know, Rangers have to try and cope with that pressure as well. Celtic are in the driving seat, shall we say, in terms of form and confidence, and they must be getting into this game favourites. So it's got to be, you know, one of the best performances of Rangers' season if they're going to get through to the final.
Rangers go into this one as underdogs. I thought the last time you and I were at the semi-final, the last time these two sides met in the Cup, I didn't see a great difference between Rangers in the Championship and Celtic because of the manager, Ronny Deila. I thought he evened things up because he was inept, in my view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think as the games that went on, even the game at Ibrox that we were at, I think Rangers played well for 30 minutes. They got the thing that lifts everybody, the early goal, you know, and for a while they were on top. It could have been 2, but again, the Celtic big players turned up at the right moment, Dembele and Sinclair. And again, I think Rangers have improved. I think the only thing against Celtic at this moment in time is they're looking a wee bit tired, and quite rightly so. If you're going into every game trying to win it all the time to get this invincible thing, you know, you're more determined over the 90 minutes, and that some players might get a wee bit tired. But I do think Rangers are improving. 3 games, they haven't lost any goals, but I keep saying every time, their goalkeeper has been the star man in most of the games that he's played in. So he'll have to have a really impressive game at the weekend, because I think, again, big-time players will turn up in big-time games, and I just think that Celtic have just got maybe 2 or 3 big-time players.
Yeah, what do you make of Alex McLeish saying he had kind of an informal chat with people connected with Rangers about possibly coming back to the club, but he had reservations about the prospect. He also felt as if there was a wee bit of politics going on in the background. That must be worrying when you hear that sort of thing.
Well, it's a worrying thing for the supporters. I mean, the new people have been in there for a wee while now, and the Rangers supporters themselves will determine if they're taking the club forward. But the thing that always raises its ugly head is finance. You know, where are the players, the money for the players coming that we need to close the gap on Celtic? And the only person that can do that is Mr. King, and he hasn't been given the right messages, I think, to the supporters. So on that side, that has to be rectified, but that could be easily rectified on the park if Rangers beat Celtic, because that as we all know, is what it matters to most of the supporters, is beating their rivals.
Yeah, absolutely. We will discuss, no doubt, all the way through the week, the build-up to the semi-finals. Rangers against Celtic on the Sunday, and the early kick-off on the Saturday is Hibs against Aberdeen, and congratulations to Hibernian. They clinched the championship at the weekend, Ruffy, in style, 3 goals, all set pieces, to be perfectly honest with you. But, you know, in the end, Neil Lennon and his side have got to be congratulated.
Yes, they certainly have, but they need to tell the wee guy at the end there how to celebrate. I don't know if you noticed him, he just couldn't get into the swing of things when they were celebrating behind the banners. And I don't know who it is, we might get a wee look at it later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic for Neil. I think he put his name on the line in going to Hibs. You know, he just come back from down south. He had to get back on the rails, get his CV back in order. So he took a gamble in going there. But I think he showed all his experience and the players that he brought in, the kind of player that he needed to get out of there. Pressure must have been unbelievable with 16,000 going to most of the home games, and he's came through, and I think he'll build on that.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what the Hibs manager was talking about after they clinched the promotion after the game against Queen of the South.
Another season in this division, you know, would have been very damaging, so we can look forward now, you know, really look forward. There's good players at the club, we're getting great crowds, you know, they've won 2 trophies now in, what, a year? Chance of another one. So we're back where I think Hibs belong, and don't want to be in this division again.
Yep, I think they'll be a welcome addition to the Premiership. I view them as a Premiership club, and I think the fans and the fan base that they will bring will be a huge bonus as well. Interestingly enough, he's going to face a job trying to get players to re-sign, to buy into his vision. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of budget he has to try and strengthen that team.
Well, I think they'll now fall into the same category as Hearts. You know, 16,000 supporters. I don't know how many season tickets that will be. It'll be more money come through the coffers. Again, the Hibs supporters will be looking at to see what kind of players he identifies. We've already spoken about one off air, if it doesn't happen at his club, that he would go for, and that's the kind of standard that he'll be setting.
Yeah, who were we talking about? I can't remember.
Kenny Miller it was.
Yeah, Kenny Miller. Yep, there we are. Of course, yeah, it would be a great shout, Kenny Miller, among others. That I think he faces the biggest battle is holding on to John McGinn. Yes,
again, you know, it'll be interesting to see what clubs come calling for him. He's had a fantastic season. I'm sure he's one of the players that Neil will want to hold on to and sort of build the team round about.
Yep, okay. As far as the Cup's concerned, Hibs have Aberdeen, and one Aberdeen old boy will be hoping to play a part for Hibernian in the match, and that is, of course, Fraser Fyvie.
It's been another confidence booster, if I'm being honest with you, because the teams we've come up against has obviously been SPL opponents, and been able to go right up against them again and beat them, and again against a very good strong side in Aberdeen on Saturday, and I'm sure they'll be looking to finish their season on a high, so by getting to a final, so we want to do the exact same thing, and as I say, hopefully we can go to Hampden on Saturday and get a positive result.
Yep, so Hibs against Aberdeen. Hibs are chasing the double, Ruffy.
Yeah, this will be a gauge for Neil Lennon, where they are, obviously getting promoted from the division, playing against the second top of the Premier. He'll look, and I'm sure his players as well, will look at see if there needs to be some kind of gap closed there. But on a one-off game has been proved in most of the big games that we've been at, that everybody's, I think, equal on the day, and I think Hibs will have a great chance. But I think if Aberdeen turn up, as they don't always do at Hampden, then that'll be a tough one for Hibs.
Yeah, there's a wee break in the Premiership because of the Scottish Cup. Here's a wee look at the Premiership table, Ruffy, just to give us your assessment on whether you think, you know, with a new manager, Dundee can get out of that, playoff spot that they're in at the moment. Motherwell and Hamilton don't have their troubles to seek, as well as I still think Ross County. I wonder how important that point will be come the end of the season for them against Celtic.
Yeah, we spoke about it, didn't we? You know, there's 6 teams down there. I think 5 of them are possibly under pressure, but they all know. That's why Paul Hartley was saying, look, they all know that they all can beat each other quite easily, and it'll be the teams who can stand up and be counted when that split comes and win. I would say some of them just need to win maybe 2 out of the 5.
Yeah, okay. Just before we finish, Ruffy, a couple of things I want to get your thoughts on. Of course, Harry Redknapp is back in football football as a Birmingham manager, but well done to Derek Adams, who managed to get Plymouth Argyle promoted, Ruffy.
Yeah, convincing win. You know, I think the owner of the club really rates him, and going up a division will be good for him.
Champions League football, Ruffy. Okay, it's difficult for you to pick a team now because your team are out, but can you see Leicester knocking Atletico out in the return leg?
No, I can't. I think Atletico have got good enough players to maybe get that away goal and make it difficult for them.
And Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, is there any way back for the Germans?
Oh, there is a way back, but I don't think it will happen.
Oh yeah, there you are on your probability again. Okay, what about Juventus now? I'm going to be texting you tomorrow night ahead of that big game. 3-0 down Barcelona.
Yeah, for me it's all about the officials. You know, the officials are strong enough to handle our pal Sanchez. Then I think they should maybe. No, I'm not going for them.
No.
I'm going for Juve.
Juve?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go for Barcelona then, and I'll text you all the way through the game as the fourth one goes in, fingers crossed. Thanks to Ruffy. Join us tomorrow if you can, when Ali Dawson, the former Rangers player, will be our guest.